Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Mrs. C here today from Sweet Tea with Mrs. C. I'm coming to you to talk to you about public housing again, because that was part of my history. And this particular topic is going to be whether or not it was a food desert. Let me tell you, it was not. Believe it or not, when we lived in public housing back in the 60s and 70s, late 60s and 70s, far as my memory of growing up there that I can recap on, we did not have a food desert, not at all. On this particular street that we would go to, which was Lombard Street, there was a fruit market. There was another store that you can buy like soap powder and soap and, things like that, canned goods. We even had a bakery. We had a place where you can get fresh chickens. When I say fresh chickens, these chickens were alive. And you choose which chicken you want, and they take it back there, and they take the feathers off, and you hear them. Let me tell you, that was a hard chew. That was a real hard chew to eat that thing because you saw it when it was alive. And then you saw the persons take the chicken from out of the coop, holding it by its feet, taking it back there and putting it inside of this thing and, whipping those feathers off and then taking it back there and killing it, ultimately killing it for your food. We also had drugstores. We had 2 drugstores in the community. So I'm telling you, there was also a little clothing store where you can get little things from. There was SK Market where you can get cold cuts, fresh cold cuts. So there was barbershops. So we did not have a food desert. You had food. The thing about it, just far as having money, because a lot of times there was more month at the end of the money. So that's where there would be a problem, but we did not have a food desert back then. We had plenty to choose from. We didn't have to wonder like, we got to go all the way. You just walk to the location because it was right there in your community. So you did not have to go far to get what you wanted to have. Your mother, because I was raised by a single mom, ask us to go to the store and we would go around there and get what we had to get. And, back then, of course, everybody, had food stamps, and you take your little food stamps with you, holding on to it, and you go into the store and you purchase whatever you need to purchase. But yeah, there was a laundromat. I almost forgot about that. Laundromat, all in the same block. So, there was plenty, there was no thing as a food desert as, it is today in a lot of the communities where people are living. So we were blessed as far as that. There was another thing that we had that was availed to us. There was a store that gave credit, basically a food store that gave credit. So there was this old Jewish man, very sweet person, that gave credit to a lot of the Black people, community. And so what you would do is you go there and you make your purchases and whatever you need or had to get. And so then, of course, your parent would pay it back at the first of the month once they get their money. But that was a blessing to be able to have that as well. So, whenever you run short or run out of money, because there's more month at the end of the money, you can always go there and get what you needed to survive until the next month. But yeah, so back then, there was no food desert for us. And again, like I said, that was a blessing. Also in that location, there was, like I spoke about before, Atman's, where you can get your kosher hot dogs and your pastrami and your corned beef and, different things like that, that's world known Atman's. If look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. There was Wee's Delicatessens back then. There was, I think it was called Jack's Corned Beef. So we had a variety of stuff in our community. We were not lacking anything, really. So there was no food desert. So today, unfortunately, a lot of the areas where a lot of people live that are poor, there is food deserts. I mean, and they don't have ways to, they don't have vehicles where they can just drive to. You have to catch the bus or rely on public, services to get you to and fro. But, then growing up in the 60s and 70s, we didn't have a food desert. We had plenty. And then, we had an area where you can go all the way up on Broadway and you can shop. So back then, again, like I said, there was no food desert. It's just that you needed to have money to go to them. And the food, I guess it wasn't really expensive as far as I know, because I was a child, I don't know. But, we did have. So that was a blessing, and yet we lived in public housing or projects, however you want to coin it. That's where we lived. But we did have our subsidies that we can, be able to get. And again, bless his heart, God rest his soul, because he's long passed away. The gentleman that would offer, services where he would allow people to purchase food. And, I would go there. My mom would send, and I have a cart full of food. Now, remember, told you I was a thin, bony thing back then, pulling this heavy cart. I'm like, why, Mama, don't go get it. But that's another story. But anyhow, would get the food and then come back home and, and did not have to pay for it. It would all go on a tab. And then at the beginning of the month, when the money came in, the people would pay for their food, and then they start another tab for the next month when that time arises where they needed some food or whatever they may need. But, that was a blessing back then. I don't believe they have that sort of thing anymore, where you can go and purchase food without paying for it and then pay it at the end of the month. I don't think they have that, not that I'm aware of. But those were the days. There were some good old days, and there were some what the heck days. But those were the days, and I am thankful for that time in my life, because it helped you today to know how to survive when there's nothing. When you don't have, say if the lights go off because there's a power outage or something like that. You know how to prepare food, without having that electricity to heat it up. You know what to do. You know how to survive, those were the days. But as far as a food desert, we did not have one where we were growing up in that community. We all had access to food and different places to choose from for food. So, but I just wanted to let you know about that. I have other stories concerning growing up in a project, and I thank God for my mother, because she was a blessing for us, because she was there for us. And and she's still living. Now, I'm not saying it like in the past tense. My mom is still living, but I thank God for her, for what she done for us, as we were growing up, because, she was there. So, but again, I just want to come on and let you know about that, and that, life wasn't easy, but we had things that, the necessary things that we needed when we needed. And, and there was times when we didn't have any food, and, or before being able to have that tab, but God always provided. He always provided. And see, I had 3 sisters, and we all lived, in the same place, with my mom. So it was a total of 5 females in this apartment. So with 1 bathroom, and we survived. So that's what I want to tell you about today. So in the meantime, today, I hope that everybody is warm, because the weather is very cold out there. I hope wherever you are, you stay warm. You take care of yourself. You have a blessed day, not a stressed day. Don't put up with no mess today, as I always say. In the meantime, in between time. And I am on this, I'm on my treadmill. Let me let you see. I'm on this treadmill. Let's get this to switch around. Will it switch for, of course it won't do it for me, but let me show you. See? I have not started. I just push, because I got this thing sideways, and I like to hold it straight up and down. And I accidentally pushed it off, but I have not started yet. But in the meantime, in between time, until we chat again, you all have a blessed day. All right. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I keep forgetting to say that, and comment now. Y'all can comment. If you see something that it reminds you of something that you have experienced, or if you like the contents that I'm giving you, say something. You might smile and be looking at this like, I can relate. Say something. Let me know that you are relating to what I am saying. Be blessed.